Hey everyone, it's Jelly Cards, and you're listening to the Jelly Cards Podcast. We've been collecting since we were kids. Whether it's Pokemon cards or sports cards, being a collector at heart always comes first. You can listen to all our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And if you are enjoying these topics, please give us a rating and a follow on both Spotify and Apple, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, if you are ready, we are ready. Sit back, relax, and as always, keep spreading the love of the hobby from your friends at Jelly Cards.
Your boy's sweating already. Oh yeah,
Okay,
this is much
let's
better.
go, man.
Okay. Man, here we go.
Yeah, what are we talking about today?
I told you,
cares? Let's
nobody,
just roll it.
nobody pays attention to me in the group chat. I
I haven't
understand.
even seen any
I get ignored. I said for today's episode, we're going to piggyback off of last week. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk more about the eBay stuff because we were actually getting a lot of really great feedback on the eBay post that we had when John and I were kind of talking about our issues, and John, mentioned about that, that kind of big, not loss, but eBay taking such a huge chunk out of your final sale, and then us talking about buyers not paying for auctions that they win. And we had a lot of really great feedback from different accounts, talking about their issues that they've had, talking about other platforms that they've used. I know some people were talking. I think it was you that replied to somebody that said My Slabs. I've never even heard of that.
Oh, yeah, My Slabs is pretty awesome. I've never used it, but I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure that their fee is like 1% or less than 3%.
1%?
Yeah.
The hell is this guy reading over there?
I don't know.
Man,
He's doing smelling salts?
vitamins are fucking nasty, dude.
I'm like, this guy doing smelling salts over there?
Yeah, he's
Who are
doing
you, Joe
smelling
Rogan?
salt. Adult erectile dysfunction?
Yep, that's
Yes.
it. ED,
Oh,
you done taking your gummies? You done taking your vitamins? You
Yes. I am good.
good? All right.
Maybe a
Work
glass
hard,
of
ready to
warm
go.
milk to help to
Yeah.
put you to sleep.
Jeez, man. All right. Okay. So here we go, man. I don't think we talk about, enough about kind of the issues that do happen when you utilize eBay, because I'm assuming there's a lot of people who are into sports cards, who are TCG cards, sports memorabilia, that utilize eBay as a selling platform. And I'm sure we cannot be the only people who are, selling on eBay who have these issues. And like I was saying, we were getting a lot of really great feedback from some other hobbyists and other hobbyist accounts talking about different platforms that you could be using. I know one of the accounts was talking about My Slabs. The other what was the other one that they were talking about, the auction one?
Yeah, I think it was like
And
their own auction site.
Oh, because we follow them. Did you follow the account because they mentioned it? Oh, or I didn't know if we were already following them or not when I saw it. But it would be great to get onto different platforms or start to utilize different platforms other than eBay. But I know other people were commenting basically saying, hey, how can you not sell on eBay? eBay's got
Exactly.
great, buyer protection. Obviously we know the big audience that eBay brings when trying to sell cards. And the one topic I did want us to discuss was the one account, I believe, Coopy Cards, I believe. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it, but it was COOPY Cards. They made a comment on our post about how they utilize more buy now listings rather than auctions. And they say they tend to use buy now options more because it eliminates, or at least majority of the time eliminates, those buyers from being able to not pay for auctions. And which is something that we really never use buy it now listings. We never use that. So I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion on if that's something that you kind of feel as if we should do as a business, or that other hobbyists that are, looking to maybe start to sell some cards on eBay, should they be utilizing more buy it now listings versus auctions? Because it's going to then, I would assume, eliminate that, chance that, someone's shill bidding, someone's not going to pay for something. So I do want to get your guys' opinion on that. But before we even start to dive into that stuff, do you guys got some cards to show off?
I do, but I think I actually showed this one already. But I was reorganizing my cards earlier, and I was like, "Dang, I love this." I like forgot how much I forgot I had this, and I was like, "Damn, this is such a good card." So
show it.
Yeah, then. Yeah, now I don't care.
I think I already did this because if we recorded around Halloween, like, because this is who I was for Halloween was Stone Cold.
Did you?
I don't know if you did. Oh, this is the
printing
this
plate.
Is my printing plate. Yeah, my 1-of-1 fuchsia printing plate from Leaf.
Sick.
So it's a 2024 Leaf Metal Legends Wrestling, and it's the 1-of-1 magenta printing plate. So I was like, oh dang. I picked this up like right after after we figured out that I was gonna be him for Halloween last year. So I was like, all right, let's go. So
that's badass.
And I was like redoing my box today, so I was like, oh man, this card is sick. I think it's my only 1-of-1, so that's
I don't think printing plates get enough like hype.
I was just thinking the same thing, Jason.
Like even they are 1-of-1s. Like you gotta remember,
my
these are
Japanese
1-of-1s.
Pokemon card.
Right.
I hope to pull one so bad. I want to pull a printing plate so bad.
The fact that they put the printing plates in the
that's
packs for you to pull
cool.
is really cool.
Very, very cool, and I want to pull one so bad.
Yep.
Of autos too on the printing plates.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why people don't. I mean, I know people do collect them and stuff, but I don't think, they're still like very rare to have, and for you to be able to pull something. Yeah. I mean, they should get more love in the hobby, but I don't really think that they do.
I agree with Jason. Yeah, hell yeah, Eric. That's a sick card. I don't remember you showing that.
Especially because it's Stone Cold, man.
Yeah,
Stone Cold.
Right.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah. What?
Hell yeah.
What?
That's so good.
Oh, my whole childhood. Yeah, my turn.
All right, John. See what you got. Let's see what Mitch card you got. Mitch, Nico.
Attaboy. That's right. Good guess, Jason. So, last week's episode, we talked about how when you're selling on eBay, you're selling on any platform, you're selling to collectors and you're selling to people who want to buy and flip. And on the episode, I mentioned that I don't care if it's a second-year Mitch, third-year Mitch, fourth-year Nico, etc. I want the card because it's just a player that I collect. So this card I picked up recently is a 2019 Select Mitchell Trubisky Gold PSA 10.
Dang.
Man, now he's getting non-rookies.
Now he's getting non-rookies. And you know what?
He's in deep.
You can blame that on me because I was just talking about.
Is that like so is that like a 50 out of 50? What is it?
It's out of 10.
Oh, it's out of 10. Okay.
So I'm on the hunt for the 10 out of 10 for the jersey number, my boy Mitch. But small little side note / depressing fact for John. I like that it's the 2019 because it's got his 2018 stats. And that was like the last time that I was happy watching the Bears play offense was 2018 with Mitch under center. So I might try to start stacking
just
up.
Get all of them. All 10.
I'm going to have to make the 2019 Select Mitch Rainbow.
No, you definitely should do that. Like why that is what you should do. You get away from like the Bowman cards and if you're
any cards that have any value.
Here's the
thing. Get away from
those.
the vintage cards you love.
No, John, here's the thing. If you're at like a card show or something, sure. By all means, like go and search for some, cards for jelly or search for some like investor cards. But if you're scrolling through on eBay, man, just probably utilize eBay and just buy what you want,
But yeah.
Like when you just get the cards, because you're probably better off trying to get, something like that off of eBay versus like what are the odds that somebody's going to have that Mitch card sitting at a card show now,
Yeah,
so
exactly. And the small other collector plug there. People do that all the time for vintage. Like Jason, the Roger Maris card the year
Yep.
that he broke the
Mhm.
record.
People
card
buy
is-
based on the
Oh,
stats,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, on the back of the card, it has him hitting the 61 homers, right? 62.
I'll bet you a lot of
61.
Shohei Ohtani cards that are going to come out this year are going to be huge because it's going to have his 50-50 stats on it.
Damn, good call, Jason. I didn't think of
I
that.
mean, I would have just assumed that having 50-50 on it, he's the first person in Major League history to do that. Why wouldn't people? That's probably going to be a
Jason?
hot card.
You've triggered a fiend side of John. I should start looking at that. But anyway, yeah, people do it for vintage all the time.
What are
Same
you
with
doing,
Mickey.
Jason?
Well, I'm not
Mickey
saying
Mantle,
like to
triple-
go
What
and
are you
chase
doing,
after
Jason?
it. I'm not saying to chase after those cards, but I'm saying if we're opening up baseball cards and you just happen to pull like a refractor of Shohei Ohtani, you might maybe want to send it in and get graded because people are going to do exactly what they did with Roger Maris, or probably, people who are probably collecting Aaron Judge. We're having 62 home runs on the card,
Mm-hmm.
Man,
And same
hey,
with,
you know what? You should maybe look up some Ichiro ones with 262 on it.
yeah, it's probably a thing. And
Yeah.
like Mickey Mantle Triple Crown year, that card is sought after because of that.
Yep.
Because on the back it has his stats.
Didn't Miggy won a triple crown, didn't he? That's probably a nice card. Maybe
Anyway,
that'd
Jason,
be cool.
what do you got?
Derek,
Oh,
we
man.
almost.
Hey,
Should buy
Jesse,
those cards, Eric.
you should buy those cards.
All
All right. Hopefully, I don't even know how I'm supposed to show this on the camera, but
Here we go.
It's like it's not a card. Yeah, there it is.
I
Oh
don't
my
even know
God.
how I can even show it,
I
man.
don't even know what it is. What is that?
This
It's
is
some DC.
Condition.
This is Peacemaker, man. This is the first issue of Peacemaker Tries Hard. It was a new series that came out. I believe it came out after the first series of John Cena's Peacemaker on Max. So this is graded by CGC. It's a 9.8. This is basically, I mean, other than getting, I don't even think I've ever seen a 10.
Me neither.
But it's a variant cover. So basically the same thing kind of what cards do is comics will make variant covers. The artists will make different artworks for covers that you can collect. People get these variant covers because they're cool collector's items. So I was searching on eBay. I had a $20 eBay card and I was like, you know what? Let me look at some of these graded comics. And I've been rewatching Peacemaker right now too, so that's why.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I've been rewatching Peacemaker because they are they're coming out with the new season in August. So I think honestly, here's the thing about it. There are just certain actors that play certain roles in whether it's a movie or a TV series that I don't think you can, like, nobody else can play it. Like Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, I don't think you could cast anybody else for Deadpool except for Ryan Reynolds. And John Cena as Peacemaker, I don't think there is anybody else out there that can do it.
I can play the role that well.
That can play the role that well of his.
Do you think if Robert Downey Jr. wasn't Iron Man first, he could do Deadpool?
They
They have
as
a-
Reynolds. Why? What
You
do you
don't
got?
think he could be like a cocky sort of like
Yeah,
maybe
but-
maybe the age is like
yeah,
part of
exactly.
it too.
And kind of the
But-
build.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, Tony Stark / Robert Downey Jr. Nobody else could do it the same way. Same with Thor. Perfect casting. I feel like Marvel did well on all of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
he definitely.
Yeah, every single Jim Carrey movie, dear God, nobody could play the mask. Nobody can be Ace Ventura ever again. It's all Jim Carrey. Nobody else could do that.
Yeah. My first graded comic, man. Hopefully one of many, but man, it's so, and it's really funny because obviously he's got blood on his face and the caption is, "What is something on my face?" It's just funny.
Classic.
Yeah,
Classic Peacemaker.
Classic Peacemaker, man. That show is so good. I can't wait for season 2. Man, it's such a good show.
But yeah,
And
good
now
purchase. Jason.
Peacemaker's like one of my favorite DC characters. So
Yeah.
all because
Hell
of
yeah.
John Cena.
Nice.
So, but let's get into the eBay talk because I do want to get your guys' opinion on it because I honestly think that this could be a good strategy for us in the future. Switching from, we do so many auctions, and of course, there's a lot of benefits to doing auctions versus buy it now. You kind of buy it now. I feel like buy it now listings, they might sit on eBay a lot longer than auctions you can kind of dictate a little bit, the length of how long you want the listing to go for. And there's a really great chance that, somebody might, really bid up a card or really bid up, some memorabilia that you're selling versus you trying to kind of figure out what price that you're going to list your card at. So you get a lot of attention on there. But I do want to get your guys' opinion on it, just for, a strategy in general for other hobbyists out there, but also as a strategy for jelly cards moving forward. Do you think buy it now listings right now currently in the hobby are better than actually doing auctions? Or do you think it depends on the card that you're selling?
I guess for me, I think it absolutely depends on the card. I think that if it's a raw, like filler card or some sort of not super expensive card, I think auction would probably be the way to go for me, just to get rid of the card faster. You can obviously list the card for 99 cents, 50 cents, and just have it buy now, which is kind of how COMC runs their whole like operation over there. But
Really.
yeah, I hate it. I'd rather just list the card, probably even start at like a quarter and just let it go and sell for whatever it goes and then move on. But when it comes to these higher end cards, or I guess more expensive graded cards, I've always been adamant that I want to list everything on auction just so we can get rid of it. But after the things that we've gone through and I've gone through personally with eBay, I'm starting to lean more towards, yeah, maybe we should start listing things as buy it now. Obviously, buy it now OBO or best offer, just so that we can kind of avoid all the games that we used to play where we're like, should we list it 5 day at this time so that it ends on this day at that time? Should we do a week? Should we do 10 days? Should we pay the $1 fee and list it for 3 days or 1 day? Like we can kind of avoid all that and just have a set price that we think the card is worth. Maybe give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room so that we can take some offers as well. And I think that might
I
be the way to go.
definitely think you should always have an offer option.
Me too. But
Like,
dude, people like in the X/Twitter world of the hobby, people talk about all the time that they kind of just list cards, buy it now a little bit less than what it sold for recently, or a little bit less than the currently lowest price on eBay, and it gets bought up within a day. Because people are always looking for a certain player or a certain, who knows, Pokemon. And if you have it at the lowest price available, other people don't want to deal with auctions. They don't want to deal with offering. They'll just buy it straight out because you have their price point already listed. But anyway, I'm with you, Jason. I want OBO so that people know that no, like we're not super firm on any price, and we're here to negotiate and make deals like everybody else.
yeah, because I mean, that's what the hobby's about. It's about making deals. It's about wheeling and dealing. So, I mean, I personally think it is better off to have those OBO options because you might just get a little bit more attention on your listing versus like, hey, we're firm. But I mean, unless you have a card that's like, hey, we can't take anything less than this. So if you want it, buy it at that, or if they want really, I'll still message sellers. The Peacemaker comic, this wasn't an OBO.
Nice.
I sent a message to the seller and I said, "Hey, are you willing to accept offers?" And that seller sent me a discounted price on the comic. And you know
Oh,
what?
there you go.
I respect that and I'll buy it. I don't even know if I might maybe even overpaid for it. I don't even know. But you know what? I was like,
My
you know
man.
what? I respect the fact that you sent me this, percentage off. And I was like, okay, I'll buy it. Thank you.
Damn.
So it,
Good
it can
shit,
work.
Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's worse that's going to happen? They're going to be like, no, sorry. No, sorry. Like, I get that a lot from sellers where they'll just be like, I can't, like, I just can't accept anything less than this, so.
Eric, how are you feeling? What do you think about auctions versus
Well, I
buy it
mean,
now?
our best sale was a buy it now OBO listing that we held firm until we had like another piece of data and then like held true to our price and got our price and moved on. And like, so like, yeah, let's do it. I'm all for it. Yeah. I mean, but it's also very card dependent, right? That was a very, that was like a big sort of hit that we had. It's not a common thing. But we also did the same thing with Jackson Holiday, all right? We held true to like doing what we want to a price we thought we wanted to get for that card versus putting it up to auction. And then John found a person in real life who bought it and it was done. It was like, all right, great. That was easy.
That's true.
It was
Holy
like,
sh-
okay,
I totally
easy.
forgot about that card.
Yeah. So that's like what I mean. And we totally forget about the Arias card too, also because like I don't even know if he's in the league anymore. So it's like, that's part of it too. I think it's like we cash out, we get our price, and we're like, okay, cool, nice. We don't think about it anymore. It's all the undersells that we think about, which is
Yeah, that's true.
that's why we don't think about the Holiday or the Arias or the any other. I'm sure if we went back and looked at our like records, we could find like, oh yeah, I remember that one. Oh yeah, I remember that one too. We just like forget about them because they were good prices we're like, great, awesome, done, move on.
Yeah.
So
Jason,
yeah, that might be the way to do it now. Is like just buy it now, OBO.
besides like just getting rid of cards faster and just making sure that you get rid of a card, what's a reason that you would, or not, maybe not you, or somebody would prefer to list a card for auction instead of buy it now? Like, why did we strictly do auction? Because now that Eric brought up Arias, I thought about the Bobby Witt Mega Box auto. I remember when we sold that. That was an auction. The Zach Neto auto was an auction. All those cards were like all-time highs for the card based on timing. But maybe, anyway, yeah, answer the question, Jason. Why do you think that some people might do auction?
Well, I mean, personally, I think you're giving yourself I guess a better chance of that card selling for high value, right? Like that's one of the biggest things that you can get, because of course you can get two buyers who are going to end up in a bidding war, and they're just going to keep going back and forth, back and forth. The next thing you know, like with the Needle card, next thing you know, we're now the top seller for that card. We have the highest sold price. So I mean, there are benefits to having your cards listed for auction, but at the same time, you can kind of do the same thing. Like, I mean, if you're trying to do a buy it now for a card that's numbered out of 5, like the Arias card that we sold, there might not be that many comps. Like, how are you gonna comp that card to know that you're not, like, here's the thing. We used to argue about this when we sold the Venusaur all the time.
Yeah.
You can list a
There
card
you
for
go.
$1 million.
That's another one.
You can list a card for $1 million on eBay. It don't matter. Like, put whatever you want on there and just put OBO, and then it doesn't matter. But if you go too high, no one's gonna look at your listing. In my personal opinion, no one's gonna look at your listing. No one's gonna like focus on it. You're not gonna get views on it. You're not gonna get the attention, because people are. And then even if they see the OBO best offer, people are not going to think you're realistic enough to where they can make a solid offer that you're going to accept, right? If you're going to do a buy it now, you got to make it a competitive price to allow yourself to like room to wheel and deal, but also enough to where people are going to look at your card and go, okay, I think I can probably make an offer. Let's try to get to a number. Auctions, obviously you take that out and you can just let the card do its thing. But here's the problem. When we sold the Venusaur, we sold it for $900. We could have put that on auction and it sells for $600.
Right.
And now you just not, and now what?
Exactly.
They're like, well,
And
how
could sell and that guy just doesn't pay.
Exactly.
or that too. Yeah. But I remember the one of my Vladimir Guerrero Jr. cards, I put it, they were selling super high, and then it's sitting on auction for 7 days. He has a terrible week. We found out he wasn't going to win the Triple Crown. And what happened?
Plummeted. Yeah.
Man, people just stopped buying it. But people stopped caring about that card, and people didn't buy it. And a card that was once going for like $200, it was now not going for $200. and it sold for like less than $100. So that's kind of the risk of auctions versus buy it now. But I personally think, you kind of should have a balance of both. Have a balance of both buy it now and auctions. Like I think what I was saying to you guys, like super extremely valuable cards, if we that we get in the future, put them on auction and let it go to work. Maybe some of these smaller cards, like the Moises card, that we just sold, or maybe some of these prospects that are big to us, but maybe not are big to other collectors. Maybe those should be buy it now, and they can let them sit for like 30 days, because that's how as long as it'll sit on eBay for 30 days, the listing, until they obviously relist it. But like I don't know if you kind of agree to that strategy, or it should
I would do
everything
the
just
exact opposite.
you would put buy now for your super valuable ones? And,
Yes, I would want to
but
protect
look what
my
happened
most
with the.
valuable assets the most I can,
What,
at least.
What were
about
you going to say,
John?
Jason?
Well, I was gonna say, well, look what happened with Moises.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
we put it at buy now, we might have been able to maybe not take a loss on the card, or be able to kind of dictate where we want it to sell, versus like, because here's the thing, not everybody is a big Moises fan. Like we're a Moises Ballesteros fan because we're Cubs fans and we know Cubs prospects. But some other hobbyists might not be looking at Moises because they don't know who this player is. So it's
Oh,
like you're kind of like, I guess the neat, like the investors or the collectors of certain players that are not like on everybody's radar, that's talked about, that's not on a Paul Skeens type of hype. Like those might be better options for buy it now versus putting them on auction, and hoping that you're going to get enough people that are going to look at the card and want to bid on it.
Okay. I was going to say that.
yeah, but I guess now I'm like thinking that maybe it is like it's dependent on how we acquired those cards, though.
Yeah.
Because we had a price point for those that we could have dictated in the buy it now OBO, versus like we didn't pull those out of a case where the cost is sort of, it's like we have a cost, but it was kind of just a crapshoot sort of thing.
Yep.
Those two Moises cards, for example, like we had a card or we had a price that we could have said, oh, we should probably take this much so we at least break even or make a little bit, versus sending it to auction. But yeah, I mean, also I guess it's dependent on your inventory.
Yeah.
If you're like high dealing, then like, yeah, sure, it's all different. But I would say like for us, like we want to put everything raw up to auction, and then sort of slabs if we want to control that a little bit better, because they're at least a little bit trackable in terms of how they trade.
Cards as buy it now.
Auction the slabs.
Well, but not even just, but I would definitely like. So I've been selling a lot of just like my own personal like modern Pokemon cards on my own eBay page, and everything's been going on auction, and then like some of them are selling literally for like 99 cents. Like, but I'm kind of looking at it and going like, maybe I should just kind of look this card up on eBay, see what like it's kind of been selling for. Maybe some people are doing like $3, selling it for, and then like, yeah, throw it up for like $5 OBO. And let somebody make me an offer. Maybe somebody makes me $2 offer versus me putting it on auction and nobody's seeing it, and then it sells for 99 cents because I had 2 views.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like maybe some of these, kind of lesser valued cards, especially if they're raw cards, put them up OBO, kind of see it dictate with the price, see what's happening, and then go from there.
I think this conversation has led to the obvious answer that both you could either list your cards at auction. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just depends on what you value your inventory. It all depends on where your cutoffs are. Like, sure, I agree with what Jason's saying. It's just like, where it's like,
while we
can afford to auction all this other stuff because we have this sort of bankroll we're protecting.
While we were talking about this, it kind of reminded me of Baseline. I don't know if you remember this, Jason, or maybe I was there by myself. But I don't know if this is how they still operate. So shout out to Baseline Sports Cards in Schaumburg, their card shop that we used to go to a lot. I still go to whenever I can. The owner there had said to me that usually if they put stuff out in the cases and it doesn't last for or it lasts, I guess, for more than a week or two, they throw it up on eBay and just kind of get that card replaced in the case so that they can keep things in the shop changing all the time. And I was thinking about that now with our jelly cards. Like, the way to do that, I guess, would be either we list it for buy now, we have a set timeline that we're willing to accept for how long we can have it just sitting there. And then if it gets past a 30-day mark or a 60-day mark, we're like, okay, screw it. No one wants to come up to this price point. Do we still want to hold on to the card, or can we get rid of it? And then flip it to auction and then sell it. But again, it's just kind of how it depends on the card. It depends on how you want to operate. Like Eric said, it's huge influences your inventory. If you only have 5 cards, like you can't just I guess have them sitting there for months, years, who knows, and you probably have a price point that you have to get to. So it all depends on your place in the hobby and the card itself. So, but
Yeah, I like that idea. I like the idea of like just letting it go the full 30 days, and then if it doesn't if it doesn't pan out, we're not getting like any offers or anything like that, then just toss it up to auction and let it go for a 7-day auction and sell it. But, you know, I mean, yeah, you just kind of risk, like you said last week, you got to embrace the loss. If you take the loss on the card, you take the loss. I sold that Jordan Love. Remember the Jordan Love
yeah,
card? I put that as a buy now, and then luckily he ended up kicking the crap out of the Cowboys in the playoffs,
yeah,
and I sold the card. And I sold the card for profit. A card that I bought, already graded, sold it for profit, Eric.
it's a miracle.
It can happen, man. It happens, okay?
It happens
out
for you. Didn't happen for us.
It happens out there, man. Well,
Yeah, not for us.
I think that was a jelly card.
Was it really?
I think I just made, yeah, maybe. I sold it on our jelly page. No, did I? I can't remember anymore.
No.
Maybe
no.
it wasn't on our page.
Yeah,
maybe it was my own page.
We don't sell Packer cards.
Yeah.
We don't do that. That's gross.
But I want to get to one more topic before we finish the episode, because it was one that I wanted to ask you guys that I wanted to ask John last week, but it's great to have Eric on here because he can also chime in on it. And I might have, and I know I've asked this in the Jelly group chat before, but I want to get your opinion on the strategy. Okay, so if you are allocating your business, or if you're allocating yourself a budget per year, let's just say you are allowing yourself to spend $2,000 on sports cards or whatever cards per year. Is it better to buy like $100 cards, or are you better off buying 4 like $500 cards, or are you better off buying 2 $1,000 cards? And I want to get your opinion on it, because for me, I've always been more so of, I'm gonna buy $100 cards because they're affordable, and and I can buy more of them. But am I making the mistake of buying like these low cards that not too many people are looking at, or everybody might have them already because it's like a pink refractor that everybody gets in their fat pack or whatever? So I just kind of want to get your guys' opinion on it, because I think about it all the time, and I'm like, should I be spending more money on like for higher valued cards versus always looking at these like $50 PSA 10s?
Eric, I'll let Eric go first because I don't
You
know.
shouldn't.
Why? What are you gonna say?
Because I would spend $2,000 on wax.
My God.
That's not what I asked.
Yeah, there you go. GBA. Good job, Eric. Good answer. Good answer.
That's right.
It's
That's
not
right. I told you you shouldn't let me go first.
Yeah, Eric
I
wants
don't
to buy
know.
wax.
I probably would go with I would probably try and diversify as much as I can, because that's just, these are like stocks sort of in my head. But and also because not everybody can afford to trade at these like RPA 1 of 1 of 5, these case hits. Like, I don't like them. Like, not everybody can afford that stuff, and there's only so many of those things to go around. So, like, I think that there's still a market, and if you pick the right players, you can make. Pick the right players at the right time, or the right acquisition cost, you can make money. Yeah, but that's why I would go with wax. Take that decision out of my
I
hands.
was about to say you're eliminating that
Yeah,
that
I
whole
don't have to
thought
guess.
process.
I don't have to guess.
Yeah,
Just- I can just rip and have fun.
John.
Yeah. So as a Jelly Cards podcast member, for people who listen to the podcast for like advice, the obvious answer is you can do both. You can buy whatever you want. But as John, a member of Jelly Cards, like deciding what I want to do with the money that I'm allocating towards Jelly and that we are allocating towards Jelly. Historically, I've always said that what Eric said, that I want to buy $100 cards because, like Eric pointed out, they're essentially stock. They're stocks that you don't know if they're going to go up or down, and it's better to have more options for your cards to go up or down. Like if 15 of my cards go up and 5 of them go down, that's great. Versus if I buy $2,000 cards, I now have to bank on either one of them significantly outperforming the other or both of them going up. But if both of them go down, now I'm stuck with just 2 cards that I've wasted my entire budget for the year on. So, all that being said, when it comes to this year and it comes to Jelly Cards, I've shifted my focus into what you were talking about, Jason, in the chat, like players and cards slash parallels slash autos of athletes that I know people will want, or at least will be way more interested in, and will get us a lot more views slash traffic on the eBay page. Like instead of me going through, like I love to do every year, going through the top 100 prospect list and going through each player's individual stats, and then going to eBay and looking at their markets and finding a cheap PSA 10 first Bowman auto of a prospect that I think has potential. Instead of doing that and then waiting a year and a half for this prospect to climb up the rankings like I expect them to do, so I can sell that card for profit, instead of waiting all that time and doing all that research, I've kind of switched over to the thought process of, okay, I should buy something that everybody's going to want within the next 6 months, within a year's end. I want to buy it raw, grade it, sell it for profit. Or if I'm lucky enough, buy it low in a PSA 10, wait for the season to start back up, wait for this person to have a great performance, and then list it then. That's how I've started operating when it comes to Jelly, because based, just like we talked about on last week's episode, Jason, I don't want us to have to wait years for a card to get super expensive. I don't want my investment for Jelly to be, let's say, $3K for the year, and then I won't see that $3K again until 2 or 3 years when these prospects become like top 20 prospects or they become MLB superstars. So I guess to answer the question fully, so I don't get accused of GBA this year, I would prefer to buy fewer cards at higher price points so that hopefully we can get super lucky and have a really big profit. But
And that's what
your
I'm
turn.
getting at, because if you're buying into the right players, like Eric said, I think any strategy you choose, whether you want the $100 Caleb Williams cards, or if you start to look at his autos and get around like that $500 range, or if you really want to start looking at some downtowns or something, now you're kind of getting into that $1,000 range. Like, I think there is a smart choice to be made in all three of those. It just really depends on, I like Eric said, it's really player driven. You know, I can probably buy up $1,000 Franz Wagner card and get some really cool, super rare, basketball NT, flawless card of his. But is that ultimately going to go up in price? Like, that to me is risky, because now I have to, like, not everybody's buying into Franz. Not everybody buys into Franz the way I look at him, right? But now if I chose Jaden Daniels, like I went out and got a Jaden Daniels downtown kaboom, whatever it is, now I might be better off, spending like $1,000 on a Jaden Daniels, kaboom card in hopes that that card is going to increase because everybody in the hobby is looking at Jaden Daniels. So I think a lot of it is player driven. And I think it's just a matter of what are you comfortable spending on, like spending your money on, how much you can allocate yourself. And then ultimately what is your goal? Is your goal in hopes that you can, maximize profits and but have 20 of them? Or are you kind of looking for that one, I just need this one card? If I buy this card at $1,000, I just hope that I can sell it for 1,200 and I can take an extra $200 and I can go spend it on something else. And like you said, and I'll spend it on something else and on something else. So it's just, I'm always trying to think of different ways, or I'm always really trying to think of just things that I can improve on as a hobbyist, and somebody, as a Jolly Cards member is something that I can, try to do better in order to help benefit our business or just benefit myself in the hobby, because really it's just, it's not working for me, man.
Take it easy.
It's not working, man. At least for me personally, man. But my biggest thing has always been, not even that. I feel like I've picked the right players and I've picked the right cards, and I didn't sell them because I always had this mindset of like,
Way to go, John.
oh, but what if? But what?
Way to go,
it's not-
John.
and it wasn't like, it's not career stuff. It was always these what ifs that would pop in my head. Like they're having these amazing seasons. I still got my Kaprizov.
Jeez.
I bought that card at $115 at the National last year in Cleveland. And then guess where that card ended up? It was sitting at like 170. But Kaprizov is now, but he's like one of the top players in the league at the time. So what I do? Well, what if he ends up winning?
It's
like
even
MVP?
better.
What if he's like the
Yeah.
best player in the league? And then next thing you know, what happens? Dude goes down with an injury and has to have surgery.
Coach, man.
Like, it's just, I always get these, what the Vladimir Guerrero Jr., what if he wins the Triple
Triple
Crown? Kyler Murray, what if he goes to the Super Bowl? Nope.
Yes.
I need to just, the moment I see profit, bye-bye card and move on. Like, that's what needs to happen. And that's my biggest mistake that I make in the hobby is I hold for too long. Like, I hold when I should sell.
Mm-hmm.
And every single time it has not worked out.
Hey, man. At least you're learning. But
Except for the Jordan Love. Like the Jordan Love one that worked out for me, but again, I think that was just perfect timing that I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me list this card because he's in the playoffs and I'll just go buy it now. And wow, oh my God, the one time I do a buy it now listing and it panned out, like,
you're not
that's-
alone, Jason.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah, you're not
said.
alone. Yeah, I do the same thing with actual stocks. So
Yep, I do it with everything. I do it with cards,
yeah, literally
stock,
everything.
crypto, food, maybe
yeah.
water.
Yep.
Should I drink this water now? What if I'm thirsty later? But yeah, man, I hear you on all that. You're not alone. Everybody does it in the hobby. There's cards you should have sold, cards you should not have sold. God, man, I think about that stuff all the time. Like even some of my like personal Bobby Wood cards. I wish I would have held on to those. I sold a lot of Bobby Wood back when he was coming up and everyone was all excited, and now he's like an MVP candidate back-to-back years. God, I'm sure if Luke listens to this episode, he'll think about his Otani cards. I know that they were profit, so he's moved on like a smart person would. But like, imagine if he held all of them. Could you imagine where they'd be now? I wish I would have bought more Judge cards. I wish I would have bought this. I wish I would have held that. Like, yeah,
Yep.
man, happens all the time.
What's so funny is that you brought that up because I was gonna start the podcast off and I was gonna be like, if you guys could go back to 2020 when we first started Jelly Cards,
Shit.
what is the one player that you wish that you would have bought into? And for me, it was Aaron Judge. Like I
My
wish I
God.
would have bought into Aaron.
How can you say that when it's the obvious answers? Like,
Yeah, Thank you, Eric.
But not
I
even
was
not,
leaning
whoa,
and
whoa,
waiting
hold
for
on.
Jason to finally say something.
Not even the fact that, okay, it's an obvious answer. Do you not think it would have been smart to buy into Aaron Judge, John?
No.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Please,
yes.
please tell me that it would have been a dumb idea to buy Aaron Judge in 2020 and be able to sell him right now. Please tell me that's a dumb idea.
It's not a dumb idea, but all other options
why are you
available, that's a dumb idea.
How is that all? What?
Because in 2020, when Ohtani was hurt, you could have stacked a crap ton of Ohtani like Luke was doing.
Okay, so
And they'd
so
be worth
why is
way
mine?
more.
Why is mine way more? Have you looked at Aaron Judge cards, my guy?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like
Why
you
don't you pull it up? Pull up the most expensive Aaron Judge card that's sold versus
Is
Ohtani.
Okay, is it wrong to buy into Aaron Judge? Like, is that wrong? Because his cards
No.
have gone up.
It's not wrong. But if I had to pick
But you're telling
one,
me it's wrong.
okay.
But you are
All right.
telling me it's wrong. Well, it's not wrong, but you should have done this instead. Like, you're telling me I'm wrong then.
You're not wrong. Obviously, Joe's is a great answer, right? Great
Yeah.
answer.
Yes, I think so. And I would have won so much money because I could have bet that you would have been like, no, it would have been Ohtani. And that's
Ohtani-
fine. You could easily buy into Ohtani cards. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Aaron Judge is a great answer.
It is a
saying
great answer.
That the answer, if all of us would have put all of our money into Shohei cards in 2020 and held them for, God, a year or two, we would have made a crap ton of profit. Same goes for Judge, but if we're talking business and we want the business to make the most money, I think Ohtani is the clear answer. However, it's not the only answer. Like, I texted JK when Ovi was going to break the record. Back when Jelly Cards formed, I was looking at Ovechkin PSA 10 Young Guns for like $700. And I was like, too much money. I don't want to do it. I'm an idiot. I'm a pansy. I don't want to spend $700 on an Ovi Young Guns. I'll go buy like another Kane card. But now, an Ovi PSA 10 is like 3 to 4K. So if I would have bought, I don't know, 7 of them for $5,000 and flipped them for $35,000, I'd be way happier now. So, like, what the hell, man? There's no wrong. There's tons of great answers.
Yeah.
And I leaned in because I was really anticipating you to say we should have bought Ohtani so I could have it on the record. But of course,
Why would you
picked,
think that he was going to say that?
I don't know, Eric. I thought
Listen,
maybe Jason
I
would
am
have learned
not.
something by
I
now.
am not stupid. Okay, you call me
Oh,
an
yeah.
idiot a lot, but I'm not. I'm not an idiot. I understand the value. Me personally, in 2020, if I was looking at it, I like Aaron Judge. I should have been buying because his markets was low. Like, he was low at the time because he wasn't playing that well. Like, after his rookie season, he didn't really have that great. So today I was looking at his first Bowman Chromes. His first Bowman Chromes, dude, are selling for like over $700 in PSA 10s. Just the first Bowman Chrome. Back in like 2020, that shit was like $100. So I'm just saying, like, some are going on under. There's some are like $90, man. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you could have stacked up on like I was just saying, if my strategy back at then what it was now, and I'm over here buying $90, Aaron Judge cards, and now I'm sitting here selling all 20 of them for $700. Like, I'm not good at math, so you have to do the math. I don't know how much that is, but
20 times 700, yeah, you just made 14K.
Would it maybe be Anthony Edwards in basketball?
another
Great one.
really
SGA
great one.
for sure.
I was about to say Shy too,
SGA.
man.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
SGA, absolutely.
That would have been great because I
Although
think his
Ant's
cards would
like
have been.
super, like he's just like
He's
boisterous and like,
Yeah.
you know,
That is going to
Personality.
be an awesome series to watch, man.
We should revisit this topic and we should pick one player from each sport, like main sport, or
Well,
even
thank
Eric?
goodness we didn't do the one person that we all were like, dang, should we go back and buy this person's cards?
What's that?
Wander.
Mm,
Because that
Good
was
call, Eric.
2019, and we were like, dang, we're like, man, we were just a year short.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
man.
man.
And Wander was that. He was
that
the
dude.
player. He was the player that.
Was that dude?
Man. Yeah. I got
Call
money
her.
tied up in that. I got two cards of his, man. That just what a piece of trash.
Yeah. Garbage. Sell 'em
Garbage.
for $1. Give them
Yep.
away for free.
Should just fucking
Like,
throw 'em
what
away.
do you do with them at this point?
People still sell them.
Yeah, they still sell 'em.
I think I saw one
Who's
on Pro
buying
Skater or
'em?
something.
There are rumors out there that he might make a comeback of some kind.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
I don't know if it's going to happen
What is
or
the
if it
team
should
gonna
happen.
touch him? Like, is he still under contract with the Rays?
I
Yeah,
don't think so. He is?
yeah, he would. Yeah, yeah.
Are they still paying him?
That I don't know, but they would definitely still own his rights if he were to make a comeback.
Right.
How do you?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Yeah. Good
Oh.
call, though, Eric. I totally
Yeah.
forgot about Wander.
Yeah, Wander was, man, that was, and I really wanted. We were buying into a lot of the Tops packs. Remember that?
Mhm.
Remember when his Tops rookie paper was selling for $1,400?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Boy,
Good times, man. What a
Well,
time to be
crazy
alive.
time.
eBay was the Wild West at that point. That was,
Yeah. Oh man, $1,400 for a base Tops rookie paper. Oh
Same-
boy! And then
same
they
with
turned around
sampling.
and sold for $8, man.
Yeah.
Mac
Woof.
Jones, baby.
Mac Jones, too. That's
man.
exactly what I was
All
going
the
to say.
people that bought into Mac Jones cards, man. I don't even know. Is he still backing up Trevor?
I
He's still in
think
the
so,
league.
yeah.
Yeah, he's in the league. I don't know
Because
what
I
team
know
he's
he
on.
was backing up Trevor
I
Lawrence.
think
man.
he's backing up Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
there's tons.
to anybody out there, we can end on that. To anybody out there who's buying into Wander Franco cards, who bought into Mac Jones cards, we feel the pain because we were there, man. There's always got a Brendan McKay, baby.
That's Jason's boy.
Brendan McKay, man. That
might
was
be
my. You
in a
know what?
ditch somewhere.
I'll still buy Brendan McKay cards, man. I still look at Brendan McKay.
Well, there you go.
cards, dude.
See?
You know what? Because there's just
He's
You
got
know,
his
that
fans.
that was my Otani. He was
Oh,
my
that-
Otani. Like that's you know what I'm
now
saying.
the
Like
truth is out, Chase.
Here we go, man.
he was my Otani. When I looked at a player that was both batting and pitching, that's what I was like. You know,
Yeah.
he was the top 10 prospect in
Continue.
baseball, man.
Uh-huh.
So
And if
I'm
he
just
would have
saying.
batted and pitched
Yeah, pitched it.
at
pitched
a
to
great, successful level, I wonder how Jason would feel about that.
Sure, yeah. Well, Brendan McKay's
Probably
probably
pretty
not a piece
good.
of shit. So,
Mm.
Oh,
Mhm.
Jesus, here we come.
so, bro, yeah, maybe Brendan McKay probably just doesn't let his, best friend go to jail for him. So, just saying, just saying,
Yeah, you never know.
just
Never
saying,
know.
man. You go ahead and wrap
Oh,
it up,
boy.
John.
So
Wrap it
stupid.
up.
What an episode.
I can't
Whatever.
take it. I
Wrap
can't
it
take
up,
this
John.
slander. Just stupidity spewed
Sorry,
on every
his
episode.
best friend's in jail. So for
Yeah.
for
stealing money from
him. Yeah, because I'm not gonna know that money's being taken out of my account for illegal bets. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh
Not
God.
only did Otani hand over everything, the investigation concluded
No,
that money
sure.
was stolen.
Yeah, because mistakes have never happened, right? Because they've never just overlooked stuff and been like, oh, whoops. Or maybe Otani was just bribing, making bribes, man.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. Oh yeah.
I can't wait for the Dodgers to pitch him so he just blows his elbow out again.
Man.
Yeah.
He's just,
Please wrap this up.
Jason's
Before
just-
we get
he's
in
just-
trouble.
he's just
Before we
digging.
get in trouble.
digging
Digging what,
further.
man? I
Digging
ain't
his hole
digging
further.
nothing, man.
How dare you root for somebody to get hurt, Jason? What a terrible person you are.
I didn't root for it. I just said he
Can't wait.
watch him just blow his elbow out.
Can't wait.
Okay. All right. Final thoughts. Anyway,
Oh, man.
I don't even remember. Okay. Final thoughts. This podcast episode. Thank you everybody for listening. If you made it this far, we went through a lot of ups and downs on this episode.
Yeah, sorry. We were having some really bad technical
a
difficulties.
lot of
man.
bad technical
So
difficulties.
I hope the audio is not bad.
Me
but-
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jason because I know he's going to do a lot of editing. Sorry, Jason. Thank you as well. We started the podcast talking about eBay because We posted on our Instagram a clip from our previous episode where we talked about handling eBay with people who don't pay, handling eBay with shill bidding, handling eBay especially with fees. And we got some good replies on that. So thank you everybody who commented. We talked about not only the fees and selling aspect of eBay, but excuse me, we also talked about when you're listing cards on eBay, whether or not you prefer to list those cards at auction or you prefer to do buy it now. And if you're out there and you are an eBay seller, which I assume you are, please reach out. I would love to know like what data people have gathered. Like, have you noticed that your cards are selling better when you list them buy it now? Have you noticed that you get great prices when you run an auction on the player that's hot in the market? Like, please reach out to us on social media at Jellycards, JELICARDS on Instagram, X/Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of those. If you enjoy the podcast, please follow the podcast and rate the podcast. I would really appreciate that on Apple and Spotify. And yeah, and then we finally wrapped it up with, I don't remember what, I think we talked about like another great question by you, Jason. If you are in the hobby and you have a pretend $10,000 budget, would you prefer to buy two $5,000 cards, or would you buy $100 cards? And how you approach your hobby like maneuvers. Do you want to buy those high-end cards and then flip them within a few months or a year? Or are you just kind of buying everything and anything you see that you think is a good deal and you're trying to flip it? So awesome question by you, Jason. The last question of the podcast episode we can revisit another time, maybe with Luke on here, because I feel like Luke would have some good insight. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Hope we have an amazing weekend and a week ahead. And as always, keep spreading the love of the hobby from your friends at Jellycards.